Hey guys, it's Rickzilla here. Today I'm going to be looking at Chris and politics. I know I haven't been doing a quickie reading for a while, but since today is election day, I thought I'd take a look at Chris's limited views on politics. And regardless on your political standpoints, just know that Chris is far worse than any presidential candidate. And I'll tell you why. So, let's begin. In recent years, Chris has been quite vocal about his political views. He was once a moderate and then shifted left. During the Tom Girl saga, he shifted further left. His progressing support of LGBT may have been why he has been more vocal about politics. General views. Before the 2010s, Chris was a self-described moderate. His views are eclectic. They can be described as fiscally liberal and socially conservative. He would therefore receive criticism from both sides of the political fence. Liberal trolls criticized Chris for his racism, sexism, homophobia, and black and white view of the world, as well as his poor understanding of science. Conservative trolls criticized him for his lack of a job, reliance on the government, unusual behavior, and obscure interests. After the close of the Classic era, Chris's social views started to shift left, while his fiscal views shifted even further. Reason for Chris's political shift? Shift in identity. Chris's transgender identity has left him open to political influence from others, particularly as he has begun socializing within the LGBT community and other generally progressive outlets. He even became accepting of gay men, a group he once vehemently opposed. Financial problems. Chris's deteriorating financial situation, continued dependence on government money, and growing health problems for himself and his mother have enhanced his sensitivity to social spending and fiscal policy. In particular, one of PMERT's most prominent policy goals is the repeal of the current Affordable Care Act. While the exact effects of the law on health care costs and availability for common people are debatable, it is generally considered at least partly effective. Chris has no doubt heard about Republican repeal efforts from his limited political news exposure and likely holds them against Trump and his allies. Continuing resistance. Chris continues to view himself as part of the anti-Trump resistance. In 2018, under the influence of the Idea Guy, he talked in a video about opposing Nazis and claimed to be a member of Antifa. He also destroyed a toy pony under the impression that Nazis had bugged it. It should be noted that real historical Nazis have been a recurring theme in Idea Guy content. And as long as Chris remained under their control, any political statement he made should have been taken with a grain of salt. Views on policy. Chris's political views resemble a third-grade child's "if I were president" social studies assignment, possessing a shallow understanding of major world issues. A rather insightful example of his limited understanding on how the world actually works is his "A Public Announcement for Congress," in which Chris explains in detail the actions he would take if elected President of the United States. One doesn't even need to play the video to know that Chris is full of shit, as the title, "A Public Announcement for Congress," contradicts itself. The video is not directed at Congress in any way, but rather is a stump speech directed at the American people. Anyone familiar with Chris's unique manner of speaking knows that he makes a habit of using fancy-sounding words to make himself sound more intelligent than he actually is. Since Chris has no idea how to actually use these words, the results often make him sound even more like a total moron. Now here's the video. I'm going to play it and maybe give a few insight. And by the way, this video that Chris made was influenced by Jackie, one of the troll girlfriends who pretended to be interested in dating him.
Good evening, friends. As your presidential candidate, I will now state how I feel what we can do to improve these nations, these states.
You see how he stumbles over his words? He's even worse than me, and he's even worse than Trump.
For one thing, we got so many poor people out on the streets. I mean, we have soup kitchens, and we have soup beds. We should really combine the two into soup hotels, so that there would be a bed for every homeless person until they can get back up on their own feet. Also, lower taxes. I will propose lower taxes, and we shall not have to pay so much. 5% is okay, but why not 2.5%? And we will not cut off any benefits for the old people. They are good. And we shall give them plenty of money so they can afford their medications and services to keep them alive. Because we do not pay for when we are sick, we pay for our good health. And we only pay after we're in good health. We pay to stay alive. We do not pay to die.
His policies on health are extremely limited, and it goes to show he has no idea what he's talking about, which I'll get more into later on once this video is over.
And speaking of which, too much violence goes on within these city streets. I will propose only gun distribution to the official authority, which shall be within the police department, nowhere else. And all guns owned by local community people shall be taken away.
This video was made in 2010, 2 years before the 2012 presidential election.
At least the bullets. When the bullets are necessary, or when there is an outbreak of violence from another nation or planet, then we shall issue the bullets. At free stations to be open immediately. Otherwise, we'll send in our special troops, our special force. And also, we will be okay to have the gays within our community. In all states, there will be gay marriage ability for every state within the United Nations. I mean, keep it to yourselves in your room. Just don't force it upon everybody, because what may be right for you may not be right for most, for some.
This was around the time when Chris was still homophobic. He didn't like the gays at all. Hell, he didn't like men at all.
You take the good from the bad, and then you get an opening statement like mine. People need to appreciate life, so we will not have to face death. I lost my train of thought there, but that's okay. I am only human. We are all human. I am a noble, honest person.
No, he's not.
no matter what everybody else may say, even on the internet, and my opponent, Senor Cache de Clyde.
Clyde Cash was a prominent figure in Christery. He was the leader of the Miscreants, a group of trolls dedicated to fucking with Chris on the internet. Clyde Cash was basically Chris Chan's arch enemy.
He tells lies about me. And so do the trolls that have patrolled me over the internet.
I just need to make sure.
Their jeers and non-cheers do not go appreciated. Because it is not everybody who can take a joke.
Chris can't take a joke. Even if it's at his expense, he cannot take a joke.
Even when it's at their own expense.
Took the words out of my mouth.
And with that, I will propose internet securities reinforced by the FBI, and there will be patrol stations of the troll busters around these United States. Any troll activity that you may be suspicious of an individual, you report to your local authority, and they will inform the local FBI station within that state.
I think the U.S. government and Congress tried to do what Chris described by having a bill that would censor internet freedoms, which, thank God, didn't pass because it was a violation of the First Amendment.
And then they will investigate thoroughly over the wireless that is called the internet.
You can see all the crappy drawings in Chris's room. The Sonichu covers and Sonichu pages plastered on his wall. And you can see the toys in the background, along with the custom Guitar Hero controller and other knickknacks that litters his house. He's a hoarder, just like his mother, just to let you guys know.
And they will trace the emails back to the origin home address or location. And they will be apprehended and fined or sentenced, depending on how cruel they are to the victim. I stand strong. I stand firm. I am a noble leader.
That noble leader line would have been something Trump might have said.
And if I am elected, I will do my best to keep our America strong and sound and not go down the drain. I'm sorry, Obama. I did vote for you, but I gotta agree with my father. You are bringing us some of the situations downhill.
Keep in mind that Bob, when he was still alive, was far left.
But I have nothing against you because I did vote for you. And I liked your documentary on A&E. I would shake your hand at the first opportunity I would to meet you, Mr. President. And therefore, I shall conclude my opening statement in the candidacy of the President by saying, I will do my best, and I am not lazy.
Yes, he is.
Thank you. This ad is not real. I'm not going to be elected president, but I tell truth nonetheless of what I would do if I were to become president. Thank you.
In the video, Chris In the video, Chris displays for all the world that he has no idea how anything works. Chris's first 100 days as president would be as follows. Use federal funds to create massive government housing complexes in every major city for the homeless. Drastically lower the sales tax of the state of Virginia from 5% to 2.5%. Not lower benefits for retirees. Subsidize pharmaceutical costs for retirees. Confiscate all firearms owned by civilians. Legalize gay marriage in every member state of the United Nations. Construct FBI stations to monitor the activities of internet trolls. Ideologically, Chris's views are all over the place, ranging from conservative to extremely liberal views. Notably, the 5% tax rate Chris wants halved refers to the Virginia sales tax and not a federal income tax. Besides the fact that sales tax rates are set by the state and not by the federal government, and a President Chandler would have no power to change this. Chris's understanding of the distinction between income and sales tax points to the fact that, to nobody's surprise, Barb probably filed all of Chris's taxes for him during those 3 incredible months when he was actually employed. Since Chris most likely has never seen a W-2 in his entire life, his approval of cutting taxes was most likely the influence of his late father. This is also the most certainly the case with his next 2 points. Both relate to benefits for retired persons. He would also take away all firearms from the civilian population, a direct violation of the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution. He then immediately backtracks this idea, instead settling to just confiscate and ban the sale of ammunition. The ammunition would then be redistributed to the population in the event of an attack from another planet or nation. Another nation or planet. Not even considering the fact that such a plan would be a logistical nightmare. Chris seems to forget that the United States already has a military to defend itself. So exactly why Chris believes the U.S. population would have to be engaged in guerrilla-style warfare against a foreign invader is a mystery. Chris's final proposal is perhaps the most egregious, suggesting that the resources of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, a federal agency which is, among other things, dedicated to stopping foreign and domestic terrorist plots, should be used to investigate people who type "you're gay" over the internet. In short, Chris's views on politics are mostly the product of the influences of his conservative parents, combined with a well-meaning yet naive understanding of complex socio-political issues like poverty and gun violence. Also, on a side note, there's a reason why people are not comfortable with Chris being in a position of power. If you want another reason, take a look at Quickville. It's basically a sovereign state. Other issues. Terrorism. On November 15, 2015, Chris wrote a piece on the ISIS attacks in France. He demonstrated a very simplistic notion of ISIS, comparing it to a cartoon villain looking to gather energies and power for themselves. You must think that ISIS were Decepticons or something. He also tried to understand the motives of the terrorists by using his own life experiences against trolls, saying, I feel that the terrorists, regardless of country, are misguided with paranoia and fear of others. His solution for world peace is simply to stand together, combining our hearts and souls in the efforts to share the lights of friendship and love. This ignores all underlying motives for socio-political tensions and is a solution more fitting for a fight among small children. And I would say that Chris probably got that idea from My Little Pony. Then again, most of his ideas are derived from My Little Pony. Patriotism. In the 2009 Father Call, Matthew called out Chris on his lack of patriotism for making twin falling towers, saying, Don't tell me you're an American. Chris took it literally, responding, I was born in America. I was raised in America my whole life. I never left the United States of America. On May 3rd, 2017, Chris naively appealed to North Korea, a foreign totalitarian regime, for a coup against the President of the United States. This was when Chris started making death threats against Donald Trump. Chris's involvement in the political process. 2008 to 2012, Chris, to many people's shock and horror, has voted in multiple United States presidential elections. In 2008, Chris voted for Democrat candidate Barack Obama. His main reason for doing so was the fact that he had watched a set of documentaries on both Obama and his Republican opponent, the late John McCain. Chris, in true and honest form, said he voted against McCain because he couldn't identify with him on a personal level. In December 2008, he stated, I saw more of myself in Obama when I watched his A&E biography than in McCain's A&E biography, both downloaded from the PlayStation Store. Who would you vote for? A war hero that you could feel that much for, or the guy who you feel like is similar to you in social dilemmas? Exactly what qualities of Barack Obama an obese man-child saw in himself is currently unknown. Chris elaborated further in 2014 during a date with Catherine, another troll girlfriend pretending to be interested in him. I kind of felt like, with my with the mental problems and whatnot, I felt like I could not similarly relate to him. I felt more relatable to him in that sense than McCain was. As he was a prisoner in that other country, he insisted he did not want to be released early. He wanted to go out with as at the same time as everybody else. That is admirable. He pronounces this word all wrong. Chris would go on to vote for Obama a second time in 2012 for, once again, no reason besides his claims that he personally identified with him, saying, I felt like I wanted to make sure that I had good reason to decide from the change in having a first black president. Aside from that, because if I had done it on just that alone, that would have been racist. 2016. Despite having 4 more years of opportunities to actually understand how a country functions, Chris's reasoning for his choice in the 2016 presidential election remained laughably shallow. Chris repeatedly made clear his preference for Democrat candidate Hillary Clinton during this election cycle, his main reason being that she is a woman. In February of 2016, Chris said, I feel like America needs a woman's touch finally after all these years. As a reason for why he wanted Hillary Clinton to become president, Chris did make a slight attempt to develop his political views from the Obama era, instead of just voting for Clinton because she reminds him of himself, he read up on the issues. Unfortunately, this consisted of him skimming clickbait articles written by LGBT activists. He also cited an episode of The Simpsons as one of his major sources for being opposed to Clinton's opponent, Donald Trump. When a fan asked for reasons to vote for Clinton, he responded, "Hillary will tax the fat cats and fill the middle class and lower and get the country less in debt. She is pro-LGBTQ and immigrants. She is more beneficial for everyone in general. And this country is long overdue for a woman's touch." Despite claiming to be a feminist, the sexism in Chris's woman's touch remarks seemed to elude him. Chris has also given many reasons for opposing Trump. On November 9, 2016, Chris reacted to the news of Donald Trump's victory over Hillary Clinton by throwing a huge temper tantrum. During that time, he asked someone to kill Trump with a sniper rifle, made videos and Facebook posts depicting the president-elect and later vice president-elect being murdered in effigy using Transformers and Legos, posted to the comments section of an LGBT Facebook page and asked its readers to pray for Trump's death. He also signed an online petition asking the Electoral College to disregard the results of the 2016 election and install Clinton into the presidency, which did not happen. Chris has refused to recognize P-Mert as his president, saying, "Trump is not president, mayor, or anything in Quickville." Now he has Herbert Garrison from South Park as president. In his mythos, by the way. An open letter to P-Mert on the LGBT. Upon reading that P-Mert, which is Trump spelled backwards, upon reading that P-Mert had said he would sign the First Amendment Defense Act if passed by Congress, a bill opposed by liberals due to potentially enabling discrimination against the LGBT. Chris first reacted by making a death threat, then writing an open letter directed at P-Mert. In case you're wondering, P-Mert is Trump spelled backwards. In his Die Trump Die video, Chris said that he calls him P-Mert because he's going to hurt this country. And then he kicked a Transformer toy. "Hey, hashtag Donald Trump, I have a puzzler for you. In the alternate reality /dimension/universe where A, every person there is the opposite born gender from, and B, the LGBT is the norm and the discrimination happens against the straight people. Would you, the President Donald Trump of this reality /dimension/universe, allow the Donald Trumpette in that opposite reality /dimension/universe sign the anti-straight law that would allow discrimination of yourself ever? If your answer is no, then it should be fit that you not discriminate against us, the LGBTQ, as the people there discriminate against the straight. Yet, if your answer remains yes, then you, sir, would end up being a self-loathing person, as you allowed the continuing of discrimination of yourself in that reality /dimension/universe. That is the very same planet and the very same United States of America that you, yourself, regardless, dare to reside and take office in. Hashtag Donald Trump, abdicate the office and let Hillary Clinton run this country. For the love of religion and for any shred of self-love you have for yourself, or die from yours or someone else's hand. Good day. Though confusing, Chris's points seem to be that he wants P-Mert to consider the perspective of an LGBT-oriented person before making his decision on the bill. Aside from the death threat at the end, It is fair. It is a fair effort by Chris, whose own autism often makes it difficult for himself to emphasize with other people. And that's pretty much it for the article. It's probably a bit shorter than most streams I do. Anyway, as we are probably going to be waiting for the results on who's going to be the president, there is still time for you to register and vote, regardless of the time zones. And I was going to say this at the beginning, but I had to re-record this over and over again. But now that I'm done with the reading, I just want to let you guys know that I voted. And just to let you know, there's still time for you guys to go out there and vote. We can't expect which candidate wins the election to make the change. We got to make the change ourselves. So we got to do what we can to make a difference. I'm Rick Zilla, and I hope you like this little reading. If you want to see more of these, be sure to subscribe to my channel and click the bell notification. Also, I have a Patreon. If you want to support me in other ways, you should check that out. I'll put the link in the description. And that's all for now, folks. So, peace out.